We're heading out today to Kinabalu Park. Bit of a drive, about 80 kilometres I think from KK up into the hills. We're hoping for a nice fine day. It's looking okay at the moment, but you can't really tell in this place. It can change in the space of about half an hour, so crossing our fingers, heading off and hoping for the best. We're out of KK now. It doesn't take you long to get out of the main town area. It's not a very big city, and we're pretty much into the countryside, looking like very rural Malaysia. A lot of little tiny houses, not a great deal of infrastructure out here. The road out is pretty rough. It's supposed to be some sort of highway by the fact that it's a dual carriageway, but road surface pretty rough. But hopefully we'll be okay. Nothing you need a four-wheel drive for, at least. So we'll take you up into the hills and show you what Kinabalu Park is like. Well, we've arrived at Kinabalu Park. Entry fee was 18 ringgit. 15 of that was for European price, of course. Nothing like a bit of institutionalised racism. And never mind, we can afford it according to the Malaysians, so no, we get charged more. When you come into the park, there's an entry station, and then you follow a one-way circuit road. The first thing you come to is a lodge area where you can't go in, that's guests only. Continue on from there and turn right, come down the hill to the Botanical Park. and that's what we're about to have a look at now. The park has some accommodation and a couple of places to eat. Many visitors opt for the more upmarket restaurant, but we like the more local style of food and opted for the store near the Botanical Garden. Again, like many other meals we've had in Malaysia, it was tasty and it was cheap. You can't really ask for more than that, can you? There's another fee to enter the Botanical Garden, and the same policy applies of charging foreigners more, but what can you do? Everything was pretty tropical and interesting enough, but I can't say it was exactly enthralling. The best thing really was the drive up through the mountains and the sight of Mount Kinabalu. The day we visited, it had a small cap of cloud, but that just gave it an air of mystery, so we weren't that disappointed. The mountain roads are pretty rough. In fact, the road most of the way wasn't great. There are some overtaking lanes, but there's plenty of locals who have no regard at all for safety and happily overtake on blind bends. You need to keep an eye out for those if you're driving yourself. The trip took about 6 hours in total, with a couple of photo stops along the way. Just behind me, shrouded in cloud, is the peak of Mount Kinabalu. You can trek up there if you're game enough. Not something we would ever contemplate doing, but nice to be out on a day like this and to be able to see it up there. Pity the peak isn't visible, but I guess it gives it a bit more mystery being shrouded in the clouds like that. The drive up from KK is about 90 kilometres. Normally you would think that's only a couple of hours drive. It's probably a bit longer given the slowness of some of the vehicles on the roads as you come up through the hills, but well worth coming up and doing the drive, having a look around. The park that we went to earlier, well worth doing as well. You can stop in there and have lunch. Check out the Botanic Garden. Isn't much of a drive going around it, but facilities like toilets are available, which is a bit of a relief. And they were clean and westernised, so that was a good job too.